Hi there. Welcome to Wayne's Arcade World. Come on in. Today is a very special day. You get a tour of my game room and a quick look at my new 80s style man room basement. And what's even more exciting is that this is the first time ever on this channel that I have filmed the inside of my house. And we are going to start with a tour of Wayne's Arcade World. And without further ado, I am super excited to finally show you Wayne's Arcade World. Now you might be asking yourself, well, Wayne, if it's called Wayne's Arcade World, where is the arcade? Well, actually, this is version 3.0 of Wayne's Arcade World. Wayne's Arcade World was actually established in 1991 in Northlake, Illinois, the house that I grew up in, with one actual arcade game, the 1978 Atari Classic Avalanche, provided as a gift by who else but Star Worlds Arcade. It was set up in a spare room, along with a bunch of lights, decorations, some of which are behind me, and some license plates. Wayne's Arcade World was born. Eventually, we would get the Space Shuttle Pinball, as well as a Centipede Upright and a 1942 tabletop. So yeah, Wayne's Arcade World at one point had 4 arcade games. That was version 1.0. Version 2.0 is when we moved to the basement after my sister was born. And we actually got a little bit more room there. Now, Wayne's Arcade World took a bit of a hiatus after I moved out of Northlake. And unfortunately, in Lake Zurich, I did not have room for a game room, a man room, or anything like that. But we do now. So Wayne's Arcade World version 3.0 is back. I have been pretty much setting up this room since we moved in last winter. It's been a lot of work. And yes, we're still missing the arcade portion of Wayne's Arcade World. At least for now. But I still think it's pretty cool. And finally, let's get started with the tour. I guess we may as well start with this floor lamp, which I bought at Meijer. I believe it was on sale. And we had some color changing LED light bulbs, which are connected to this remote here. So basically with the remote, you could do all sorts of weird color things with it. Do all sorts of crazy flashing lights, stuff like that. Someone got me this little mock-up of the Turtles game marquee quite some time ago. My wife got me this after we moved in. Now, before we get into all the gaming systems here, let's take a look at some more of the decorations. Alright, let's get started. Wayne's Arcade World has always had some crazy lights and decorations. And version 3.0 is no different. Some of this stuff is new. Some of this stuff was saved from the old arcade. Let's take a look. We have Stitch here. This is new, gifted to me last Christmas. We have a lot of remotes. This one is for Stitch. And he basically can change to all sorts of colors. Can do flashy stuff as well. But for obvious reasons, I usually just keep him blue. This stoplight is original to the arcade. I need to get some new flashing bulbs for it, but otherwise it's fully functional. This disco light is original to the arcade, as well as this railroad crossing signal thing here, which I may have had since before the arcade. I've had this for a really long time. Now we're going to move on to more recent stuff. This was also gifted to me last Christmas. It's one of these things you kind of, touch and it follows your hand with the electricity. Pretty cool. My girls seem to get a kind of a kick out of this. The lava lamp was also gifted to me, I think back around Christmas 2020. And I did have a purple lava lamp in the original Wayne's Arcade World. This neon light here that says love, I believe, was actually given to one of my girls. But I sort of took it and put it in the arcade. And this, I am super excited. It was gifted to me by my wife last Christmas. My Disney Stitch lamp. This thing is so cool. And this is controlled by either one of these remotes here. And we can sort of change colors and do whatever we want with that. Pretty cool. But now, something that I set up over the summer is this LED light strip. I bought this at Meijer as well. And again, it can change colors and do all sorts of flashy patterns. So yeah, we can get that going. We can get that to start flashing. And now we have a party. And I got this cool little crystal light from my sister last Christmas. And it has just different LED patterns, and it's actually activated and changes by sound. So it's actually changing due to my voice. Kind of neat. Alright, let's get into the meat and potatoes of this game room. And this plaque was actually on the door that led into version 2.0 of Wayne's Arcade World. Thankfully, it was saved and now is on display on this old CRT, which was left here by the former owners of this house, and now I'm really glad they did. Alright, let's start here with this TV, which I've had for several years now. It's a TCL with built-in Roku. And we have internet connection. So besides our game systems, we can do stuff like Disney Plus, Hulu, things like that. We can watch it down here. This is my original special edition Red Wii, which I've had forever. Still one of my favorite systems ever. We have a few games up here. One of my all-time favorites, Wii Sports Resort. Especially the Doggy Frisbee. Mario Kart. The original Wii Sports. And Super Mario Bros. Wii. The dozens of Miis that my daughters have created over the years. This is me, though. And it does look like me. I mean, yeah, that is a pretty good representation. All the original remotes that I've had forever. And my 2 nunchucks. And now let's get into these beauties. My wife has worked miracles over the years, somehow getting her hands on these systems and gifting them to me. The NES Mini. One of my favorites is playing the Tecmo Bowl game. The SNES Mini. Of course, you got the Super Mario World Classic. One of my favorites, though, of course, Super Mario Kart. And of course, the Sega Genesis Mini. Now, I've always been more of a Nintendo guy. Not familiar with a ton of these games. But one of the main reasons I wanted this, of course, was for the original Sonic the Hedgehog. And if that wasn't old school enough for you, we have these guys. the original Atari Flashback, modeled after the Atari 7800. Got this weird controller here. The Atari Flashback 2. Of course, we got the classic Atari 2600 controller. The adventure game. Some great ones in here. Asteroids, Pong, Centipede. Throw it back to my original Wayne's Arcade World. Some classics here that I really like playing. Pitfall and River Raid. Now I had the original Atari Flashback and Flashback 2 in Northlake. And then, some years down the road, I got the Atari Flashback 5, which has a pretty good selection of games. One of my favorites to play on here is the basketball and bowling game. We also have a few of these handhelds, which I have collected over the years. This Namco version, which has Miss Pac-Man, Mappy, and Pole Position. A Sega Genesis handheld, which also has Sonic on it. Of course, all these systems here have the yellow and white cords, which hook up to the CRT, which is really the only way you should be playing this stuff. Another handheld Atari, which I believe predates the flashbacks. I got a Frogger handheld and a poker handheld. Again, everything with these yellow and white cords, and most of these handhelds I got back in the 2000s, so obviously they're a little bit aged, but they all do work and hook up to my CRT over there. So maybe no arcade yet, but plenty of games, lights, decorations, and fun to be had at Wayne's Arcade World. And perhaps one of my favorite pieces of the arcade, just recently hung up on the wall. I'm not weird. I'm just a YouTuber. A poster by the YouTuber Alex Clark. As you can see, he signed the poster. I've been subscribed to his channel for a while now. He had a big Black Friday sale on the posters, and for obvious reasons, I felt like I needed this. And hopefully someday, my silver and gold play buttons will be hanging up right next to it. And remember that crystal ball? Yeah, when all the lights are off, this place turns into a bit of a party zone. Get some music, or just talk, and this room lights up pretty cool. Yeah, kinda neat. Well, I hope you enjoyed this little tour of Wayne's Arcade World. I've been waiting a long time to get this room in shape in order to show it off to you. And I'm glad to finally give you a little tour of my house. Stay tuned. Make sure to subscribe to our channel. And maybe more tours will come soon. Thank you for watching.